Hello, everybody. Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, coming to you live this Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. Pacific Time. This is a special Q&A, and this goes back, wow, this is like retro, you guys. When I started all of this whole channel, it was all about the EE Live Q&A. And I don't know if anybody who's watching right now was a part of the early days when I did the EE Live Q&A. But my goodness, I can tell you it brings back so many fond memories. And that's really what we're doing today, the Express Entry Live Q&A. I am so stoked, as we get closer and closer to July, that very, very first draw. When is it going to be? We know that July, if I pull up my little calendar here and I do my little calculations, I can see that the first draw, theoretically, in July should be on Wednesday, July the 6th. But what have we seen as a pattern? We've seen that the PNP draws have always been on the 6th. So the question is, are the draws going to be happening in one scoop that is a no program specified draw that includes the PNPs, or will the PNP draw happen as usual on July the 6th and then July the 7th be the no program specified draw, the one that includes all of you FSWs out there who've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this day? We are pretty certain at this stage that they're not going to be able to run through that whole legislation to do the occupation specific draws. So this could very well be an open season draw, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. But the reality is only time will tell, and the minister tends to be extremely tight-lipped when it comes to anything related to the draws. So we often do not know about them. We don't hear about them until they actually surface. So, all right, I'm going to just see if I can pull off this right here so that we can get right to the questions. Oh, that's not the right one, you guys. I've got a bunch of little overlays here and things like that I've got going. And so I'm just going to pull these up. Bear with me. So that is the live, and then I'm going to disappear that one. Okay, this is open season. So any questions that you guys have about Express Entry, I will answer anything. So I haven't set a time limit. So if people are piling in here and there's lots of people that have questions, we're going to go right from the beginning and we're going to pound through everything. So it's open season. You can start posting your questions. As a Canadian immigration lawyer, I love working with people. I love representing them. I love using our collaborative review model. But my goodness, if I could do this all day, every day, this would be my happy zone. All right, let's see who's tuned in here. We've got Ralph, and my brother from another mother. Hello, buddy. It's good to see you. I can't wait to connect with you guys over the summer. So good to see you, Ralph. I see you've got a new handle in there. Tahir over on Facebook, great. I see you're here. That's awesome. And Samrat, great to have you connecting in. Awesome, awesome. And yes, we're super, super excited that you guys were, that things are moving forward, at least for your spouse, right? Himanshu, good to see you on Facebook. Good evening. We've got Porias who's here, and Unati, good to see you. And this was really unannounced. I decided to do this just relatively short notice. And I had I went for a little stroll with my dog Simba, and we went down into the coulees and went for a walk. And then I had to get back in time to catch up to the missionaries from our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who came over for a visit this evening. As many of you know, my son is down in Chile, so he's serving his mission down there. And so whenever we have an opportunity to invite the missionaries here, and they're both from the U.S. who are serving up here, we take every opportunity to welcome them and make sure that they're doing great. Okay, Samrat says, hello. Yes, I remember those early days of Q&A when I used to join late at night from India, sometimes even at 8 a.m. in the morning. That's worthy of an applause. That's absolutely worthy of an applause. So, so that's fantastic. So, yeah, so happy. And Samrat, it's also, just really, really cool that you guys are well done your process, that you're waiting for your PR cards. And I think things are finally starting to move forward for you, but just to be a part of that journey just is awesome. So awesome. Okay, Malishka says, what is the best way to support best way to support that I don't plan to reside in Quebec for CEC application. Well, do you live in Quebec right now, Malishka? That's the issue. So if you're already living in Quebec and you've gained your work experience in Quebec and you're on, say, a work permit and you're working for an employer in Quebec, well, that's going to be a pretty hard presumption to rebut. You need to demonstrate that you are physically outside of Quebec. Now, the intention is what they're really focusing in. And there's lots of people that say you just need to demonstrate the intention. But you guys know me, I don't drive my little wagon on the edge of the cliff. I make sure those wagon wheels are as far away from that cliff as possible. So I don't want to push right up to the very edge right here. I can't even get the edge right. I don't want to push up to the very edge. I want to be as far away from that edge as possible, which means I am not living in Quebec. I am actually moved outside. I have a rental somewhere else, and I'm not living in Quebec anymore, because that way there's no issues. And after the fact, after you become a permanent resident, well, then there's flexibility to make decisions. But at the time in which you go through that process, there's one sure way to ensure that, and that's to actually be living outside Quebec. All right, Thesura, awesome to see you. Thanks for connecting in. Okay, what are the scores? What will they be, high or low? Let's go take a look. Let's flip over here and take a peek. So you guys can see right here, the rounds of invitations. They always show the most recent round first. So we know that on June the 22nd, just a few days ago, we had, once again, a PNP only draw, right? But if you scroll down a little bit further, you will be able to see what the current state of the pool was immediately before that draw took place. So before June 20th, before the draw happened on June 22nd, on June 20th, there was 664 people above the 600 mark. So if you look at this, 664, and then you go and you say, okay, well, how many people were in there? 636 nominations were extended. That doesn't make sense. Why were there only 636 nominations extended for people over 600 when there were 664 in the pool? Why? Well, the one situation I can see in almost every case is that some of the candidates had over 600 points on human capital alone. How does that happen? Well, one easy way is that a person has a job offer at an executive level. So if you get a 00 knock, you're getting 200 extra points. So I think a sizable portion of those that weren't drawn in the PNP only draw were CEC candidates or FSW candidates that had a job offer worth 200 points in the pool. So that's the situation. But let's take a look at the reality. And the reality is right here, you guys. So we know that never before, except for draw, what's the number? It slipped my mind. 176, I think it was. Draw 176 when there were 27,332 people that were extended invitations, and the lowest was all the way down to 75 points. So that massive 27,000 plus draw was the only time it's ever really gone over 6,000. And if we go back historically and look, we're pretty certain that this one is going to be resuming in the normal fashion. They're not in a hurry to pull in a whole bunch of people. We know in all of those videos that have been posted by all of those YouTubers, all of the news articles written by all of the other immigration news outlets out there, they emphasized that the minister has repeatedly said they're going to go back to normal size draws, and that typically means it's going to be something less than 6,000. So if it's less than 6,000, you guys, that means that this 8,000 guarantees that it's going to be over 500 points in this first round of invitations. If there's no other parameters that the minister puts in place, if that legislation that's working through the House actually gets pushed through, well then yes, strategic occupations could kick in. But wow, it's going to be tough for them to get through. It's June 26th right now. There's, things shut down in the summer in Parliament. And so I can't see that legislation getting through that quick. We don't know. We also know from the immigration levels plans that they have enough in the queue to meet the requirements for all of this year. But we also know, you guys, that when someone's given an invitation to apply in July, it is highly unlikely that they're going to get their application approved and all the way through to landed in Canada before the end of 2022. So that's why the ministers waited till July. So if we pull up, I'm going to pull up the IRCC levels plan for 2022, I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to show you the supplementary. I'm going to slide right over here. This is what dictates what's happening. So you guys can see right here, the category that we're most interested in is right here, the federal high skilled. That includes the federal skilled worker, CEC, and the federal skilled trade. It does not include the provincial nominee programs, which have a whack of people associated with them. That's why they continue to do the draws. Up here, you can see the year and the projected targets for how many immigrants they want to bring into Canada. The federal high skilled right here is the one that has had a massive backlog. And you can see part of those federal high skilled quotas were eaten up by the TR to PR pathway, which is this one. So normally that number would be up there around 80,000, right? Or even 90. And if we look to the right here and we see what the projections are for 2024, look at the numbers, 111,000. You guys can do the math. They expect to have all the TR to PR pathway flushed out by the end of 2023. And then in 2024, they're going to go back into pulling out larger numbers here. So this year, they're expecting to land 55,900. Okay, that makes sense, right, guys? That's the number that they're expecting to land because they're also using up almost 40,000 of those for the TR to PR pathway. And then the following year, once again, it's going to go up another 20,000 for the federal high skill category. But that amount still is offset by TR to PR pathway that are expected to be landed in 2023. So this affects how many they can bring in. But they know, you guys, they know, yes, that they have enough in the queue, all of those backlogged FSWs that are now starting to fully get finalized. And I know the minister, when I talked with him earlier this year, he emphasized that there was a real priority with trying to get those backlogged applications that, for you guys that were suffering so long, waiting and waiting with nothing moving forward, your lives being put on hold. The goal was to get through all of those as much as possible before they started doing rounds. And with the timing that it takes, and you can see 75,750 is what the target is. They could go, look at this, the high range is up to 84,000. You can see up here, the high range is up here. 84,000 is what they could do next year as well. So they've got a range. They could go as low as 63, highly unlikely, but that's where we're at. So when you look at all of this, they know that as they're going through the rounds of invitations, and if we flip back here, they know that if they start the draws in July, that people are likely not going to be landing in Canada in any significant numbers that would affect these targets. Well, really these targets for this year. They know that the invitation's extended. You have 2 months to submit your EAPR after you get the ITA. That pushes it to July, it pushes it to August, September. And then, how long does it take to process the application? Well, in the best of circumstances, they were right around 6 months, maybe a little bit lower. So you guys get the picture. It's likely anyone who now starts to receive ITAs now in this new wonderful world that's coming in July is not going to physically land in Canada until 2023. So back to the original question that was asked, and this is fun about this, I can really do teaching. We expect almost certainly that if it is a true, no program specified draw, that the CRS score will be over 500. And in fact, if we look here at the totals, they don't break down what the scores are between 500 and 600. So we can't even guess at that level. But there was a time when they didn't even break it down between 450 and 500, but now they do. So you can see if you're sitting in the 480s right here, and you can see how many people are ahead of you, 4,000 here, 8,000 here, another 600 here. You can see that if you're in the 480s, that it's likely going to be deep into the fall, pushing the winter before there's a round of invitations that is only CRS, not talking about any of those targeted draws, occupation draws or otherwise, that you're going to likely be waiting until the end of the year into the winter before they flush through all of these. And remember, I think all of you guys are probably aware of this. There's a lot of people who have not been putting their applications in because what's the point if you're not going to get drawn? Now, what I've been telling everybody, and I've been starting to talk about this even 2 months ago, the tiebreaker rule is important. If you happen to be right on the level in which the round of invitations was set. So if your score was at 752, and let's say that there's more people at the 752 level when that round of invitations is given, then they have space to give spots to, you could theoretically be at the 752, but the tiebreaker rule then kicks in. And so if there's a bunch of people at 752 and you submitted your application before whatever the tiebreaker rule was set, then you're going to get that ITA. Whoever's after this is not going to get drawn. And so even though you're at 752, it's important to understand that getting your application submitted now is actually worthwhile, and going ahead and making sure it's in the pool, even though you don't expect you're going to get drawn until maybe late in the year, it's still worth it, because the longer your profile is in the pool, the greater the chance you have of getting drawn. Now, flipping back here, if you have 753 points, then the tiebreaker rule doesn't matter, because you're automatically going to get that ITA. It's only people who fall right on this CRS score for the lowest ranked candidate that it applies to. But in this game, every opportunity you have to give yourself a leg up, you're going to take it. Okay, good question, Unati. Wow, did I have an opportunity to teach there? This is fun. Okay, Murali, good to see you. Navpreet is in the house. I love this mix of Facebook and YouTube. That's great. Chaitanya, he says, I got my residency through Express Entry and Mark's help. All the best to everyone. Big applause for you, my friend. Let me know when you're ready to move forward with your family. Okay, Marlette, hello. Good to see you. Okay, Dipanshu says, is there any program for international students like TR to PR announcement in July? No, I do not believe there's going to be any program announced by the minister in July. However, as you're very, very aware, there was a motion that worked its way through the House that basically required the minister to get something sorted out by September. So hang in through the summer, Dipanshu. There's going to be an announcement for sure about what they're going to do with international students. And the interesting part of all of this is we don't know what any potential new program, the impact it could potentially have on these levels planning, right? So right now, you can see here the federal economic policy. So if they tried to do another TR to PR pathway, we don't know exactly what the numbers are in the queue. I'm sure people that are smarter than me have that data, but we don't know exactly how far they've gone through with doing these invitations. Well, the federal economic public policy, which is the TR to PR pathway, we don't know exactly how many of these how many spots they're gonna need to flush through. Because remember, even up to 42,000, they have room for it. And I talked a little bit about this before. Does that suggest that maybe with the number that were landed in 2021, and there were a lot, and I know there were a lot because these TR to PR pathway folks went through my TR to PR pathway program. And I wonder if I can find it. TR to PR pathway course Facebook. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not even sure if I can find it. I haven't pushed it. Do you know what? No, I won't be able to search because it is, ironically, when I do this, if I share my screen, you guys can see here all the videos that are still being pulled up. Why you really need to join me in my new TR to PR pathway. So Google likes me. I like Google too. They pull my stuff and they keep it relevant, even though I don't pay anything like some of the other outfits. So let's see here. Maybe I can just flip over here to this link on my, I think I might have found it. Let's see if it opens up here. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Oh, no, I didn't. It's on the Canadian Immigration Institute. I just have a link to it. Okay, whatever. I don't need to waste any more time on that. But the short answer is many of the TR to PR pathway people that took the course that I offered, they got their applications approved, and now they're all permanent residents. And there was a ton that went through. So we know when it comes to the levels planning, that many went through 2021, but they still have space for, well, on average 40, and then there's 72,000 there. And we know that there was over 90,000 within the regular categories, and we're not quite sure how many were in the Francophone programs. But theoretically, maybe there is a little bit of room for the minister to squeeze out another economic policy program within the levels planning for 2023. It's possible that he could. Because remember, if he waits until September and then announces some new program to launch in January of 2023, they know that those spots are probably not going to move forward until 2024. And remember, this is a projection. This is an estimate of where they're going in the next 3 years. This right here, this program, this wasn't on the levels planning for previous years because the minister made the decision to do it short notice. And so then they had to carve out how it fits in the levels plans going forward. So even though this is a projection, anything can change. They can make modifications and they can change what their plans are for 2023 and 2024, depending upon the needs of, well, really the country, IRCC, and our needs for immigrants. So, there you go. So, boy, I can dive in deep in this stuff. That's what I really love, is the fact I can really dive in deep and talk about these at a level that I normally couldn't do on a regular live Q&A. So that's what happens when you can focus on express entry. Okay. Miguel says, hi, Mark. I took the IELTS yesterday. Looking forward to receive results soon and wait for FSW draws. CRS below 470. Okay, well, hang in there. One thing I want to show you, Miguel, is I think you're in one of those situations where you really, really want to, to wait and see what happens with the targeted draws. And the minister, and Alicia and I, we talked about this on the YouTube channel just previously in one of our previous lives. Excuse me, sneezes. Excuse me. We talked about and broke down actually what's working through the legislative changes. And so you have to go to the YouTube channel and check that out. And you'll be able to see basically what Alicia and I were sharing. And I think all of you know, many of you are watching on the YouTube channel, but if you go to the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel, you will see here that all of our previous videos, and if I go to videos here, Alicia and I, we cover a lot of different topics, but there's a string of videos. If you haven't gone to the channel, if you're watching on Facebook or otherwise, please go to the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel, and you guys will see right here that I have a ton of information that's all geared towards express entry and getting you guys prepared for the draws coming in July. So go check that out. There's a ton of different topics and different content that are all interspersed, including a monster pike with my mom, which is a big fish video. I couldn't help myself. Top 5 express entry mistakes. There's just a ton of content and resources. And in previous videos, Alicia and I we've chatted about that program in our lives. And so you guys will have to go back and check those out. Anyways, long story short, CRS 470 is probably not going to make the cut for quite a while. And even below 470, I think it's really, really unlikely that the human capital draws alone, just the regular draws based on human capital, are ever going to go down below 470. The French component, the work experience in Canada, all those factors really suggest that it's really likely not going to go below 470. And in the past, when there were rounds of invitations, we have the ability to go back and look at the previous rounds. So let's just take a peek at this. Now, for Canadian experience alone, if in fact, Miguel, you're a Canadian experience class candidate, then maybe 470 might be okay. But a no program specified draw is going to be really tough. And if we look historically at the rounds of invitations and we go back in time to the day before, like when the Canadian experience class was still being extended, like there were scores, it got down to pretty low, like 357. And notwithstanding the 75 draw, like that was just insane. But 357 was quite low. But if we keep working our way back until we get back into December 23rd, I think it was, yes. The only reason it dropped to 468, one was the French language ability hadn't really kicked in. And the reality is they had done 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 in rapid succession every 2 weeks, even less so here, 18th and the 25th is the week later. They did 3 draws in November of 2020. And all of those really caused to flush out the people that had a high CRS in the pool. People just weren't entering the pool fast enough. So it resulted in the score slowly, you can see 478, 472, 469, slowly creeping down. Even here between the 25th and the 9th, it still stayed at 469. And it wasn't until they did one more in December 23rd that it dropped to 468. But I think realistically, 471, if you look before they did those draws in rapid succession, if we're to go back and look at all those draws, in the past, the no program specified draws, they really did not drop below 471. 471 was really as low as it got. So that's just another high level kind of evaluation. So people need to take that into consideration. And that's why it's so important to be able to speak French or have other factors that are going to boost your scores to get you up above that standard level. Now, I also want to point out something to you guys that is something that I actually cover in the course. And which actually on Monday, I'm starting the masterclass, and there's still time for you guys to join in there. But in that course, if we scroll down to the bottom, I have right here in Learning the Basics, I have Crs Case Scenarios. And these are just like you. These are real examples of people and how scores are calculated, and the impact of getting, having a spouse that you're including, the impact of listing that spouse as non-accompanying. If you're a single applicant, if you're going through the Canadian Experience class, I've got a number of case scenarios that I go through. And one of the things I show within this Module 1 CRS case studies, I explain, really the maximum CRS score most people are going to hit on human capital alone. So when I talk about human capital, I'm talking about their language ability, their work experience, their age, and their education. And for an individual, just so that you guys are aware, and I'm going to pull up the ministerial instructions again, and I want to show you guys something here. So in the ministerial instructions, if we flip back here, you can see when we go to this draw, which is 468, and then right above 469, to get 469, for those who are unfamiliar with the ins and outs of express entry, you need to have at least a master's degree, 3 years of Canadian, let's get my fingers here, 3 years of Canadian work experience, 3 years of foreign work experience, a Canadian language benchmark of 9, which is 8 in listening and 7 in all 3 abilities, and you can't be older than 29. So 29 is as old as you can be. If you reach 30, then you lose 5 points. So you're operating at 464. So you can see how ultra competitive it is now. And so how important those other bonus points are, and the fact that the minister is now looking at targeted occupations. So if your scores are lower like Miguel, and you're not sure if this is going to be enough, which I don't think it will, at least not for a very, very long time, or some other, massive draws to flush people out, it's going to be super competitive, and you're going to need to look for other things to increase your scores. Okay. Gopinath, hello, give you a shout out. Okay. Inderjeet says, good morning, Mark. Can we count experience if it is in different knocks? Awesome. May God bless your path. Thank you so much, Inderjeet. This is a great question. And do you know what? In this case, I'm going to point you guys back to my YouTube channel. So right here, this is perfect. Look at these. This is why I'm having you guys look at these. So can I combine work experience in 2 different knocks? I actually created this video right here. Can I use 2 knock codes? That is one of the most top asked questions. So I created a video on it. So go in there. It's short. It's only 4 minutes and 27 seconds. So I'm going to have you go back and watch that. Go to the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel. And it's one of the first videos just in the main uploads. Can I use 2 knocks? And I'll also point out for you guys as well, if you click in here and you type search my channel and just hit knock, guess what comes up? The secret of choosing a knock code. Can I combine work experience for 2 different knock codes? And there's a whole bunch of other things. Do my nudies need to be written exactly as the knock? Pro tip from Mark and Simba, the express entry knock code. So do you see there's a ton of content? I don't know how many videos I have, like 400 or 500 maybe over the number of years that I've done this. So there's some wonderful resources there. So go check it out. The short answer is yes, you can combine knocks, but you must, if you're outside of Canada under the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you must have at least 1 knock that is continuous, full-time, skilled, paid work experience to get through the Federal Skilled Worker Program. So that is the base level. Now, that's bearing some other factors that you still meet the 67 pass mark, which if we go back here to that channel again and I scroll over it, I'm going to go back here and I scroll over it, you will see 67 out of 100 is what they pull up. That's the actual pass mark that I pull up. That's the pass mark that you need to meet. And if you can do that with just 1 year, then it's enough. Once you hit the 1 year for the Federal Skilled Worker Program, for the comprehensive ranking system, you can use other NOCs to make that full 3 years of foreign work experience, which is giving you your maximum CRS points. If you're asking for the Canadian experience class, then it doesn't matter. Yes, you can use different NOCs to accumulate that 1 year, 1,560 hours of skilled work experience to meet the minimum threshold. All right, good question. Good question, Inderjeet. It was a perfect lead in to the YouTube channel and all of the amazing content that's on there. And guys, I want you to share it. So make sure that you go in and make sure you share this information with, with anyone you think might benefit from it. So there we go. Let's flip back here and let's dive into some more questions. Okay, next question here, and I'm going to really try to answer everybody. So I'm going to go as long as I need to go, and I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. Okay, and if there's something that's an overlap, I'll just identify it and then move on if I've already answered it. Okay, any guess on dates when IRCC would start accepting the applications for postgrad work permit extensions? Great question. Once again, I have not produced a video exactly on that topic, but one thing the minister did announce was this extension encompassing a larger grouping of people all the way back to September of last year, which is freaking awesome, because when I did that announcement before on this postgrad work permit extension, when they first said that they were going to do it again, and the minister has told me repeatedly that that's the direction he's going to go. Why they still haven't released the information, I don't know. He said in the coming weeks, which everything is the coming weeks, which could mean 1 week or 52 weeks. But originally it was January until December of 2022. So people with expiring postgrads before then were just out of luck. But now they've extended it back to September. And why September? Well, September was the last time they did CEC draws. So I think that played a role in it as well. Okay. Okay. Marlette says CRS 463 here. I think only in occupation specific would you get down to that mark if you were an FSW, but because you are a CEC, you never know. If they do CEC only draws, possible. Okay. Nitish says, hello, Mark. Love your streams. I have one question that I would seek your counsel on. Can I just claim points for my Canadian experience and show the rest in personal history as I have enough points? Yes, you can. But make sure, like you've identified, that you include that work experience in your personal history when you get your ITA. In the work experience, I only list work experience that I want to claim points for. So yes, Nitish, you can do that. And it is something that I talk about repeatedly in the Express Entry step-by-step course. That's one of the things that we dive into deep. We talk about when you're completing, you can see here the modules. Learning the basics is module 1. That's like a crash course to get you up to speed. Module 2 is starting with your Express Entry profile, registering for the GC key, the first steps for eligibility. And then in module 3 is where we touch on your exact topic, which is all about completing each of the sections. There's a video for every section: personal details, contact details, study language, application details, rep. And this one right here is right in your wheelhouse. This is the one where we go in detail as to what you should include in your work history section and what you should not. At the end of the day, nobody wants to waste their time. And if you want your application to be processed quicker, make it as easy as possible for the officer. And in the course, I share insight and tips on how to do that. And one of my alumnus, the Sura, awesome to see you. And it's so cool when you jump on here, my friend, because I still have you. First, I didn't realize that Igor had done this, but let's just scroll down here. Let's see if I can find it. I was sure that I had you on here. Let me go back a second here. I think it's on the main page. That's why. Let's see. Where were you? You were here and then you disappeared on me. I did have some testimonials and it looks like they come. Oh no, here we go. You're on the main screen. Here we go. There's our friend right there. So he says, this was the best $347 I've ever spent for sure. And he is the Express Entry course graduate. And so, yeah, I love when you connect in here, buddy. That's awesome that you're coming in. So hello. Okay. Yes. And Ralph says, I remember a time the live was just simple. No big overlays or big sound effects. No, it wasn't. It was just simple. It was just me right in front of the computer broadcasting to Facebook, doing the Facebook live. Okay. But now I've got Restream, which allows me to push to all different avenues. Okay. I think we've covered this one, Marlette. Do you have any guess when the RCC will start drawing lower scores? Postgrad work permit expiring in 2024. We'll just have to see how it plays out, Marlette. but it will really determine on what they do with the CEC draws, obviously because you're going to be in Canada getting those points, and how the new rounds of invitations are going to change when they become more targeted. Okay. All right. Purius says, I moved out of Quebec last year and I've been living in Ontario for a year. My employer is located in Montreal and been working for this employer remotely for 1.5 years. Any issue for CEC? If you're living outside of Quebec, I don't have any issues with that. I don't. All right. Let's see here. Olga. Okay. Let's see. Olga says, I have a question. Can I apply to Express Entry if I have experience as an accountant from my home country and I'm working now at Dollar Store in Canada on the open work permit under Quet visa for Ukraine people? Yeah, absolutely, Olga. And this is something that we're going to be doing a lot of work for our Ukrainian friends. I think many of you know that Igor and his wife Tetiana are from Ukraine, and we've done a lot of work pro bono. Alicia's been our point person with the CBA's Quet Ukraine initiative, and obviously I've got the course for the Quet that we also released to help people know how to do it. But yeah, your work experience gained both inside Canada and from your home country is all completely valid. They go back 10 years, and for the Canadian experience class, it's within the previous 3 years you count your Canadian work experience for eligibility. But it's open. It's open. Okay, Vibob, good to see you. Thanks so much. Okay, PM says, I got my postgrad June 19th, 2022, and currently when? Let's see, PM, do you have some more? I'm going to do a search and see if I can see if you've got some more questions. Nope. Let's see here. I always try. Okay. Yep. I don't think you finished your question. So that makes it difficult to answer it. All right, let's jump through here and see if we can get back to where we were in terms of questions. Okay. Patel says, hello, Mr. Holthe. In my application, everything is passed as per IRCC agent. But when is the reason? Since many days I'm not able to get my COPR as I am on sort of vacation in the US. Could be. My visa office is Calgary. Yeah, they're just working through the system. And ultimately, if you're on vacation, that's fine. Your permanent residence is in Calgary. And so if it's with the visa office in Calgary, I don't see any issues with this, Patel, but understand that sometimes things don't go as quickly as we'd like. So, all right. Okay. Akil says, boss, I'm the boss. Nice. I want to come to Canada. Will you help me? And there is the, will you help me? Yes, I will. And here's how it works, Akil. I'm going to direct you to go right back here. And there's a link in the description below, and it's going to take you right to our Express Entry course, which is, you can subscribe right now, get access to all the lessons. But the rubber hits the road in the master classes with me, 4 to 5 p.m., June 27th to the 30th. If you click on learn more, and by now you can see everything that's in here, but this is where I want you to go. And this is the best place for me to help you. Now, ultimately, I think many of you know and realize that if I search up holthelaw.com, Holthe Immigration Law, it will take you right here, and you can always click to speak to a lawyer. And I have an amazing team of lawyers that works with me that can help you with as simple as a consult, all the way up to basically our approach, which is our collaborative review approach. So I encourage you to go over to holthelaw.com and check that out if you have questions and you just want the comfort of retaining one of the awesome lawyers in our firm to help. Okay. All right. There we go, Akil. All right. Zipping through here. Okay. Sunny says, thank you, Mark, for organizing these events. Appreciate your support for immigrants. You are very, very welcome, Sunny. Okay. Okay. Himanshu says, despite various measures, backlog is piling up. May take next 2 years to achieve normal processing times. Himanshu, I don't think so. Ultimately, yes, backlogs for the temporary side are, but the minister has really put a priority on the permanent residents. We're starting to see spousal sponsorships get processed in under a year, sometimes even quicker. And so there are definitely priorities for the people who suffered the most through that stretch. Temporary applications, yes, are going to continue to be more challenging and more lengthy, but they're even working through those. So we'll see. Okay, will there be any chance of a CEC? That's what Sneha says. And I think the answer is yes, there could be a chance. Okay, Chaitanya says, sure I will. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your help and the passion you put in everyone's case. I look forward to connecting with you, my friend. So Chaitanya's got some family, and we're going to help him with that. Okay. Raj says, any program for nanny TR to PR? Ugh. You know what? This is the interesting part. The government for years and years has struggled with this whole nanny situation. And whether they would build it into a TR to PR pathway, I think it's unlikely, but they definitely need to do something with it, don't they? The program is just really a disaster. Okay, Max Bedenko says, hey, Mark, got Coper 2 days ago. Thanks to your consultations and amazing DIY course. Long way past, but super stoked now. Oh my goodness. Max, that is so awesome. You know, Max, there's nothing that makes me happier than to celebrate the successes of people. And so in your situation, my friend, if you are adventurous, Max, and if you're still watching on Facebook, if you have the ability to jump in right here with this link, I would love to pull you on, Max, as a guest and have you just join me and just celebrate and talk about your journey. I think a lot of people would be very curious about your experience because yes, you book consultations, you connected with the course, and a long time has passed. You've been super patient, and I think it's a massive, so cool, super cool thing that you've got your Coper. And if you're still watching, I know it's been probably a little bit of time since you posted that. I would love to pull you on live and just give you a shout out if you're adventurous. So if you are, post in the link below. All you have to do is just type this URL into the link, and I can pull you in as a guest right into the live stream, and we can chat, which I can do anything I want right now. I don't have consults that I'm waiting for. It's late in the evening. And so if you're up for that, Max, I would absolutely love for you to join me. All you have to do is just click on the link, type this link in, and then I will pull you in, and we can just give you a shout out, and you can just share a little bit about your journey. I think people would really like that. I think it would be fun. So I'll leave that up, and then I'll just see if Max is adventurous or not. We'll give him a little bit of time, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Let's see next question that we have, and I'll just leave that up for you, Max. Okay, but congratulations. That is so cool. Okay, Karen says, I was one of the members of the TR to PR pathway. One of the best decisions I took. I got my PR in 3 months after my application, thanks to you. Oh yeah, I remember you, Karen. That is so cool. And oh man, I think at the time it was such a mad, crazy race. I think I had in the end, I think there's about 470 or 480 people that went through. And it's so cool to know that large group of people that went through the course, were able to get through in minutes, right? And maybe, Karan, it'd be cool if you posted below how many minutes it took you to file your TR to PR after I showed you basically how to do it, right? In the group, those who took the course, I knew what it was going to look like, really before it was launched. And so I prepared people, everybody in the course. So with that race to file, they knew exactly what was going to happen. And that's actually a really, really good segue, Karan, into the next one that I'm placing a huge amount of emphasis on. And if we scroll down, actually, I'm going to go back to the other page on my Canadian Immigration Institute. Right here, you'll see that you can get notified right now when the postgrad work permit 18-month extension course is launched. And I know a lot of people are going to look at that and they're going to say, seriously, Mark? Why in the heck are you doing this? We all file our postgrads. We don't need any assistance. Everything is just fine. Well, you guys, one thing I want to tell you repeatedly over and over again, as an immigration lawyer, people book consults with me when things go wrong. They don't post in their WhatsApp group that they messed something up or that they misinterpreted something that resulted in their application getting rejected. And the last time, there were a ton of people who got their postgrad 18-month extensions returned or refused because they did something wrong. The goal of this course, like all of the courses, is to show you very clearly what you need to avoid so you don't make those mistakes. And there's always associated with them is that masterclass with me in a live session just like this. And the coolest part about these courses, and this one, like I said, you can click here to get notified. When you click on this link, it will take you where you can leave your name and you can clarify, because I have different offerings for immigration consultants and international students. So whichever one applies to you, you can check it off. But you can reserve your spot, and then I will notify you the moment that course goes live. And I want to encourage all of you to please don't be rushing off to submit it. This isn't going to be a mad race. It's more important that you get it perfectly correct when you submit it. Now, some of you I know are behind the 8 ball, and you're just anxious to, you know, as soon as the minister announces more information on the postgrad work permit 18-month extension, you just want to get right in there and file as quickly as you can. And yes, there's some urgency to it, but hang on, wait till that evening. I'll go live quick. I'll give you my top tips and things that you need to be aware of. And then obviously anyone who has clicked on the link to reserve their spot, you will then get notified, and you'll be one of the first ones to be able to get pulled into the course. So there we go. All right, boy, I have a super itchy nose today. I don't know why. Okay, so Karan, fantastic. So happy. And yeah, it's so cool when you guys come back on here. All right. Now, I'm not sure if Max has said he's adventurous or not yet. And it may be that Max is not going to join us. He may have just did a shout out and then moved on. But so cool to hear of the success of Max and everything that he did. So cool. All right. Okay, let's, what I'll do is I'll just pull this off for now, and then let's go to the next question. Okay. Okay, Nathaniel says, I just received my PR card under the TR to PR pathway healthcare. Woo, that's awesome, Nathaniel. That is fantastic. So cool. Okay, Mudit says, hi, is it possible to have a CEC score different or lower to other draws for the rest of the FSW? It's possible that if they do a CEC only draw, that the CRS scores, the round of invitation, will be lower. It's entirely possible. Okay, Asma says, can I ask what course, please? So I think this is back to sometimes when I'm talking, the questions don't always match up. And so this is open right now, you guys. Those who go to click on and the link is just in the description below. If you scroll down, you can see it. The Express Entry course, I have a ton of people that have already subscribed to this. It is going to be so awesome. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the first masterclass, June 27th through the 30th. And I'm not doing it on July 1st because that is Canada Day, but I do a masterclass 1 hour every evening that accompanies all of those videos that walk you through step by step. And the reality is, for years, I didn't even do the masterclass because the course is so comprehensive. It covers everything from learning the basics to completing your profile, to after you get your ITA, completing it, the EAPR portion. I have separate sections for principal applicant. I have separate sections for the accompanying spouse. So why do you need to sit through videos if a spouse is, if you're not married, right? So it's all on demand, available for you to binge everything through to target the places that you need most help with. And like I said, EAPR for whether it's the principal applicant, the spouse, even if you have children, there's individual lessons for each of those. But I'll tell you guys, the big thing above all is to go right to Module 6, Mastering the Documents, which is chock full of a video, an individual video to teach you what IRCC is looking for every single document that they ask for within the application. There are checklists. There are tools that you can use to help you figure out your knock. There are, like I said, extensive tutorials with all of this. And there's over 642 minutes of video content and over 4 hours of live masterclass with yours truly. So I cannot think, the reason I created this was so that I could help as many people as possible. Any immigration consultants who want to take the course, it's accredited through CICC, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I just strongly encourage you to click it, buy now. And just like all the other people have taken the courses, well, what do I say? You guys decide. But as an immigration lawyer, I see a ton of people who just the slightest little thing that if they just knew, if I was just able to just teach them and help them, they would have avoided it and avoid really their dream of immigrating to Canada falling apart. So Asma, that's what it's about. Okay. And Hossein, the TR to PR pathway is closed. So that was a one-time thing and now it's over. Okay, Angela says, hey, Mark, I'm planning to open my profile on August, but my CRS score is around only 420. Do you think if I should wait until my score is high enough to open the profile or just open it on August? Absolutely go ahead and open it in August. If that's when you hit your CEC 1 year, if that's the case, you're going to go through. And like we talked about before, the minister may very well do targeted occupations that hit on your occupation, Angela. And if that's the case, there's going to be bonus points for that, or however he chooses to target the actual draw, that's going to prioritize you over other people that may even have higher CRS scores than you. So the government is really focused, and the minister, on making sure that the right people are immigrating that are going to fill the economic needs of our labor market. I really needed that. Okay. All right. Rishi says, please share CEC update. And so I think ultimately, like I said, Rishi, we're just going to have to wait and see what the minister ultimately does. But he does have the ability to, to do a CEC only draw if he wants to. Okay. And Ruben is here too. He says, hey, Mark, past student of your amazing course here. I can't get pay stubs from my previous foreign work experience, but I have an employment letter with all your recommendations. Is that letter enough? Ruben, did you pay any taxes? Do you have any deposits into your bank account? Do you have anything like that? I would also include those. But if you look at express entry generally, pay slips are not mandatory. The letter is mandatory. And if it's easy for immigration to vet and identify that the employer exists and that you work there. I often tell people who are working in more skilled occupations, make sure your LinkedIn profile is updated. Sometimes they'll go check that out. So those are all possible suggestions, Ruben, but so cool to see you. Oh, I love these past alumni. And once again, I can't tell you how excited I am to get back to these nice big express entry family. And the cool part is that when Ruben asks a question like this, everybody else in the private group in that masterclass, they all benefit. And there's so many times where people say, wow, I learned so much from the questions that other people asked that I never even thought of asking. And really that masterclass is really the gravy on the mashed potatoes. If you have a Canada reference, it's the gravy on the mashed potatoes. It just fills in all the gaps because the courses themselves are so comprehensive. They're designed to get you through safely, but the masterclass is the thing that just really takes things to a different level. Okay, Akash is got a super chat here. He says, hey, Mark, I had applied under the Essential TR to PR pathway in July last year. Haven't received anything yet. Do I need to worry, or is this normal? You know, Akash, generally speaking, a year out, you should have received an acknowledgement of receipt. But I have heard of other people, Akash, that are in that boat that have not yet received an acknowledgement of receipt, and understand that once the Ukraine crisis kicked in, the Syrian crisis kicked in, TR to PR fell definitely far back. And if you remember what we talked about when let's see if we can pull up the supplemental list, you can see that all the way to the end of 2023, they're still expecting to bring in under, and I'm just going to flip back here so that you guys can see this better, the federal economic public policies. They're still expecting to bring in over 32,000 and even as high as 42,000 TR to PR pathways next year. So is it a big concern, Akash, that you haven't received? I don't know if it's acknowledgement of receipt or anything. It's not fatal. It's not critical, but you just don't know if there's a mistake. And so often what I recommend people is that if they are stuck and they're not sure where they're at, I do a lot of reviews of applications, Akash, where I go in and basically put my old immigration officer hat on and forensically go through your application with you to make sure there wasn't something you missed or something that could cause your application to fall off the rails, because, you know, that kind of an audit often can provide a lot of peace of mind. And I can say, Akash, don't worry, it's filed. It's just stuck in this horrendous IRCC queue, but your time will come. And that's the peace of mind that I sell. So all you have to do is click on the link. I think I've got one to a consultation as well in the description. Just go check it out, Akash, and just book a consult with me, and we can sort out the process for going through there. Okay. Okay, Flavio. That sounds like a Portuguese name. Flavio Silva. All right. So he says, and Reis 5, maybe that's R. Could be from Brazil. Maybe. We'll see. Okay. So Flavio says, FSW Outland, CRS 515, awaiting ITA hopefully on July 6th. Should I get medicals ASAP or after ITA? I live far and need to fly to do it, and biometrics too. Okay, so this is how I always assess this. The way I look at this is I say, okay, how hard and how long how hard is it and how long will it take me to get my immigration medical? For the purposes of express entry, you're going to get that medical up front. You have to. 515 is pretty darn high. I would suspect that and let's go back and take a look. This is kind of fun. Let's go back, Flavio, and let's look at this together. So if we look at the rounds of invitations, I'm going to go back. Oh, I got to go back to one page and then, oh, maybe I got to dance a little bit here. Okay. So if we go back to the people that are in the queue, you can see 501 to 600. There's 8,017 people. That is a lot of people. So we don't know for certain, like in your situation, if your score, your 515 points will be enough to get an invitation that first round. I suspect it probably won't for that first one, just because so many people are in that range. And so in your situation, I would evaluate and assess how long you think it will take you. Now, the travel and the difficulty is all real and it's painful, but how long realistically will it take you to, say, book a flight and to actually travel to the panel physician to get it done? And how popular or backed up or blocked off is the appointments for that doctor? That's what I really look at. And if it looks like it's something that you could book a flight and you could fly in like a week or 2 weeks and the results get that appointment right away immediately, then no, I wouldn't do it. If you say, Mark, it would take me 4 months to get a flight and to get to the panel physician and do the medical, then absolutely yes, because you only have 2 months of time to get the medical done after you get your ITA to submit your EAPR. So that's how I assess it. And hopefully that makes sense. Yes. Okay, let's see what the next question is. I'm gonna get another drink. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, just gonna go back here. Give me 1 second. Okay, what is next on our list of fun and excitement? Okay, it's always tricky scrolling down till I get to the right spot when I pull up those supers. So bear with me. And fortunately, I have the jerk who posted the junk on there as a landmark. Oh boy, it's so funny when people are so stupid. Okay, anyways, cruising through. Okay, we're on Reagan. So Reagan Lee says, can I combine knock B plus knock A for the working experience? Okay, so we talked about this before. The 2 different knocks, as long as it's skilled, you have the possibility of claiming it. But when it comes to qualifying through the federal skilled worker program, the first 1 year at a minimum needs to be in 1 knock, continuous full-time skilled 1 year, 1,560 hours. If after that 1 year, you've met the 67 point threshold, and once again, those of you who are just tuning in or watching this after the fact, all you have to do is to go right back to my YouTube channel, and there's the video that goes into this in depth. And I whip it out quick for you guys. 4:27 is 4 minutes and 27 seconds is how long I took, so that these are really fast and more consumable. So go check that out. But I talk about the 67 points out of 100 in that video. So definitely go check that out. But yes, it is possible. Yep, it does. It is possible 100%. Barbie Dreams says, when do you think the new pathway may be released? You know what? The minister has till September to come up with a plan. So, and what Barbie's talking about here is, and I know that's not your name, but I'm going to call you Barbie because that's all I see there, is the new TR to PR pathway or some form to support international students. Excuse me. Okay. That's what happens when you're talking for a full hour straight. This is like the good old days, isn't it? Okay. Babu, good to see you. Aster says, and Babu says, can I ask you a question? Of course you can. Okay, Jim says, hey, Mark, thanks for the live. Will French still an advantage under the new EE scenario? Absolutely. It will always be an advantage. Always, always. There may be some situations where a targeted occupation, it's or a targeted draw is only hitting someone. Like potentially the minister could do just international students on a postgrad. Right? Like it's possible that he could target that. He could target only CECs. And if you're a CEC, then the rounds of invitation level, maybe French isn't relevant. But for the most part, French is still going to be a powerful component. And when you're getting up to 50 extra points for French language, that's massive. It's really, really massive. Okay. All right. So here's Babu's question. Skilled person, MBA graduate in marketing with 5 years of work experience. What would be my average salary in Canada. Ha! Oh, this is totally out of there. Seriously. Okay. Well, do you know what? No question is a dumb question. I'm going to try to answer this. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to go back to my screen and I'm going to search right here. I'm going to search Job Bank Canada. Let's see if it pulls up the right job bank. Right there. And then as we go here, you can see trend analysis. And guess what it has? Wages. So if you want to search an occupation, and in your question here, you said marketing, 5 years, what would be an average salary? Let's look up a marketing manager position. So we'll call here marketing manager and see if we can pull it up. And then this will show what the wage is all across the country. So once we click search, it's just thinking here, I think, if we click on search. Okay. So then it will pull up by all the regions across Canada. So if you look at Canada, the average wage is $43.27 per hour Canadian. If you were to come to Lethbridge, let's come to my hometown where I'm broadcasting from. Lethbridge, Medicine Hat region. We don't have marketing managers here, apparently. Not enough that are posting, because usually it's larger companies that have marketing managers. But if we go up here to Calgary, $45.67, which is pretty consistent with the range. So you can go to the job bank just like I did, search it up, go to trend and analysis, and then go to wages. And that will give you information. While we're on this, let's take a look at occupations and see what you can pull up detailed information about an occupation, or you can see what are the prospects, what are the jobs looking like. And once again, if we look at marketing managers, okay, let's see if we search for a marketing manager right here, and generally across the country, you can see for some places where there just isn't enough data, you have undetermined. So they just don't have enough data. But if 3 stars is really good, that means that the region is really good. PEI, not enough data. Nova Scotia, it's fair. There's probably enough jobs to meet the current demand. If we scroll down, let's see if any provinces are hurting. New Brunswick's fair. Quebec is good. So if you're destined to Quebec, which none of you express entry candidates better be going to Quebec, you're going to get your application refused. But if we scroll down here, you can see Ontario, weird, undetermined. That's so strange that Ontario doesn't have data. That's pretty lame. Manitoba's fair. And let's go to Saskatchewan is fair. I'm curious about Alberta. Alberta's fair, but let's see if we have data for Lethbridge. Undetermined. Okay. So there you go. So that's, see, no question is unimportant to me in these evening lives. And you know what, guys? That's the exact same kind of treatment that you get when you subscribe to the course. The masterclass, I go out of my way to make sure there isn't a single question that people ask that isn't answered. And, well, I want to show you something, okay? So if we go to the course here and we look at the course and understand that my time is what I sell. So it's way better for me to leverage my time across a whole bunch of people where I'm teaching everybody just like this than it is to do one by one by one. Now, me working directly with you is by far the most direct, immediate, helpful direction and advice that you can get, because I'm literally walking through and going through the whole application to give you complete peace of mind. What is that? Well, if you go back here, and I'm going to go back to my my collaborative review over here, that's this option right here. And if you look at our legal fees, you pull them up. I charge for express entry, I charge $4,000 to forensically go through your entire application with you, help you all the way through, even uploading the documents. And then you are the one that clicks submit. So that process right there, I charge $4,000. But if you go to the express entry course, well, actually, let's shift to one other thing, the consult. If you click on speak to a lawyer and you scroll down with me here, you'll see that for a 25-minute consult, I charge $315 Canadian, which is 5% sales tax in Alberta. So that is for a one-on-one consult. But I realized, look, those two options, some people, they're just out of the price range. They can't afford it. So some people, money isn't an issue and they just want to get the best advice that they can. And that's where this is a perfect fit. But for many people, it might be out of their range. So they're scraping just to get the settlement funds. So that's why I created the course. So now when you go to the course and you click buy now, you essentially get for $347. This is US just because that's the company that hosts it. But ultimately $347 US is what it costs. And like we've shown in the previous screen here, you get over let's see, we'll scroll down here, 600, it's like over 10 hours of intimate, detailed how-to every step of the process from beginning to end. Every video, you choose which ones you want that are important for you. Although, boy, if you watched all those videos, you'd know more about express entry than the vast majority of lawyers and consultants out there. Okay, and so there's that plus 4 hours just like this, one a day, where you can save up your questions, you can post them, you can ask them in a live format, you can learn from everybody else, and all of that is $347. And there was no better way that I could magnify or amplify my time and the work that I do than through that course. So that is, that's what it's all about. And you're not going to find anything like it out there for a reason. Okay, Praneet says, could you please let us know about Bill C-19, which recently became a law? How will it affect EE draws? Thank you. Okay, so Bill 19, Praneet, can you please show me the link where it recently became law? Okay, I'd love to see that, because as far as I'm concerned, it has not been released yet. Maybe I missed something. Maybe they ran through Praneet. I think you said this before about it becoming law, but Bill C-19, I don't believe has become law yet. If it did become law and they did magically race through and rush it through the House and make it law, then it's entirely possible that the first draw in July could be a targeted draw and not just this open one that's CRS. But Praneet, I'd love to see you link to where it has become law, because I have not seen that. Okay, you're very welcome, Nitish. My pleasure. And Miguel, you're very welcome. I love when you guys say thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mark. We are runned in from Uganda, Africa. Oh, excellent, Katamba. Thank you for tuning in from so far away. That's fantastic. Okay, Reagan says, can applications? Yep, we answered that one, Reagan, for you. Okay, Data Plus says, thanks for your live sessions. Is there any way for Afghan people to apply for Canada's Express Entry program? What are the chances for them as we face to life threat from the Taliban group? Data Plus, I know that's not your name, but there's no restrictions whatsoever in being able to apply. The challenge, as you're likely aware, is writing a language test, getting your educational credentials assessed. All of those things are an issue. And the reality is, if you're trapped in Afghanistan and can't get out, that's another issue. So my heart goes out to you. And there's certain things that are just outside of the control of Canada, and that's one of them. But if you can somehow find your way out, if you can find your way to get those requirements, there's nothing preventing someone from going through express entry as an Afghan citizen. Okay. Oh my goodness, this nose is driving me crazy. Katamba says, Mark, what is the best time to apply for a study permit for January 2023 studies? The best time, Katamba, is right now. Absolutely right now. And one thing I want to point out to you guys as well, when you go to our site and you book a consult and you watch these lives and you've got the options for the DIY courses, all of this here, do not neglect in any way, shape, or form. If you go back to our site, right at the top, resources and our blog. This is a constantly growing section. Look at this one right here. Important changes coming to express entry in November 2022. New occupation eligibility. Guess what this one's about? It's tier. And yes, Cedric and Chanel are going to join me and talk all about this. They talk about some of the occupations that are real winners. And you can see there's a breakdown of how everything will change. It's a great little blog post that has a ton of information. So go check that one out. But on here is a ton of other blog posts. This is all about reconsiderations. And I did a video with Cedric that's going to be launched here probably early next week that covers this in more detail. We've got The Secret to Finding Your Correct Knock, which is yours truly, which I love that one. PNP Explained. Do you have a pathway to PR? We've got spouses and how you deal with them if they're Canadian citizen and you decide to go through express entry. You can see there's a ton of content that we have here, including the top 10 reasons for a study permit Canada visa refusal. And why do we title it like that? Because that's what you guys are searching on Google. So that's why we have these kind of strange little bit titles, but that's what you're searching for. So anyways, this blog post has the top 10 reasons, and it has a lot more detail on navigating your way through this Katamba. And of course, we help people with their study permits all the time. So now don't delay. Okay. Even though there's the September draw, if you go through the process and you're applying for January, it takes time to do it right. So there you go. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so this question is from Sharon, and Sharon says, hey, Mark, I received my e-COPR on September 6th, 2021, but no PR card mailed yet and tried reaching out via email, web form, phone call, but 2 months and no change. Any suggestions? What if I change ads soon? Okay, September the 6th to now is a long time. That's longer than the regular processing times. I have gone through, and we had one of our viewers at the very beginning, Sharon. Let me see if I can find him right here. It was Samrat who ran into the same problem. So I do have an ability to reach out and inquire into those things when it's past the regular processing times. So if you do need help with that, you can definitely connect in. Like I say, slide over here, click on speak to a lawyer up in the top. It'll take you here and you can connect and we can try to sort that out. But yeah, it's hard. Like the fact that people are stuck waiting, it's just not, yeah, you should never have to be waiting for a PR card that long. It shouldn't be that way. So I'm really sorry to hear that. Hopefully, Sharon, we can get to the bottom of it. So don't hesitate to reach out. Okay. All right, so we are an hour and 12 minutes in, and I'm committed to answering questions here. So I'm going to see if I can actually get to the bottom. We'll see. Okay, Vishvesh says, hey, Mark, I'm on a Canadian payroll since January 2022. From April 2022, I'm doing work from home from my home country. Will my experience count in CEC? Not if you're not in Canada, it doesn't. So nope, you have to be present in Canada. Mary Jo says, I got nominated by the AINP and got an additional 600 points. But when I applied my permanent residency, oh no, I got rejected due to one document. And I again made an express entry profile. My question is, which I'm assuming, is it possible to again that AMP will nominate me? Thank you so much. Mary Jo, that is just heartbreaking. I am so sorry. And you know, guys, this is the reality. And if you go online and you look at the WhatsApp groups and you look at all the free stuff online, so often people say, it's so easy, you can do it yourself, right, Mary Jo? It's so easy, there's no issues. That's why we do the collaborative review. You know, when we go through that process, things don't get missed because you, Mary Jo, and myself, or one of the awesome lawyers at Holthe Immigration Law, we go through it together with you, step by step, every ounce of the way, and we make sure that nothing is missed. And so my heart breaks for you, but will they do another nomination? I just don't know, Mary Jo. I just don't. It's heartbreaking. You know, ultimately, when you go back into the pool, it depends on what the circumstances are, but there's no guarantee, that's for sure. But, okay, I'll say it again. That's why I created these courses, right? You know, Mary Jo got her nomination, but it was at the express entry stage when they're ruthless and cruel. And that's why I created the course. That's why I created all of this. And, you know, how to increase your chances, how to properly complete the profile and the EAPR, how to select your proper knock. That's a big one. What to do if you can't get a reference letter, how to avoid police certificate disaster, how to properly list a spouse as non-accompanying. What is a job offer and how do you get it? What to do if you don't have sufficient funds, how to add a spouse after EAPR, how to prepare your letters of explanation to maximize your chance of success, and so much more. That is why I created this course, to make sure that people like Mary Jo do not ever fall into that situation. My heart breaks for you, Mary Jo. Okay. Katama says, and will the 18-month work permit duration be maintained or is it to be dropped in the future? Well, understand this was a one-time program when they announced it. The last one was supposed to be a one-time program, but then the draws got all screwed up. So now they left all these international students in limbo, and that's why they're doing another one. But, you know, I keep saying these are just one-time policies. They're not to be expected. And ultimately, when it comes to the duration of a postgrad work permit, it's typically only issued once. It can't be extended, and it's based on the years of school you have. Another pro tip, do not ever take a one-year program in Canada expecting to then get only a one-year postgrad. Don't. It's a waste of money if you're planning on becoming a permanent resident. It's just too risky. Never get anything less than a 2-year diploma program so that you can get a 3-year postgrad work permit, which will actually give you time to organize your affairs. Okay. All right. Akil says, is 1-year course postgrad work permit enough to file a PR and get a PR? Since CEC and FSW are going to resume soon, I'll have an estimated 530 CRS score after 1-year Canadian job. This is a perfect segue, Anil. if you have not yet applied to take that program, I don't care how many points you have. It is always a better option, a more secure, safer option with the unpredictable, volatile nature that soon Express Entry will be. It's absolutely essential that you give yourself as much time as possible. I would never take a one-year course. Okay, is private college included in a postgrad work permit? These are drifting a little bit outside of Express Entry, but these are really, really important questions. You can figure out, Abby, if the private college actually offers postgrad work permits. And so I'll try to walk you through a search here. You can search from your own country. I will go here. Let's see here. DLI, so EE, maybe DLI IRCC, Canada. That's probably enough. Let's see if it comes up. So designated learning institutions list is what you're looking for. And in that list, it actually tells you. So I'm going to choose a school that doesn't, I know, have it. So I'm going to go with Alberta. I'm going to show you the distinction. So you can see here, I'm going to scroll over here a little bit. You'll see this right here. It says whether or not it offers a postgrad work permit. So any school that does not offer a postgrad work permit, and you're looking at staying in Canada, it will say no. And even the ones, Absolute Aviation, are the ones that say yes. If they have details, look at them carefully because only certain programs will offer it. But you can see as long as it says no, I would not waste time doing that. It's only the ones that say yes. Okay, and you can see it right there. So just once again, designated learning institutions list is what you're going to search for, and you can figure it out. Not all private schools are created equal. Some really suck, and they really are not ones that you'd want to spend your hard-earned money to attend. Okay, let's see what's next here. Anyone can join this course, or we need to sign for this. Okay, so Asma, the course that I'm talking about is a paid course. It's not free. You actually pay for it. And you guys pay good money for this course because the value and what's in there, there's nothing like it out there anywhere on the internet. I know because I've been working at this thing since I was involved in the early days of the Canadian Bar Association when Express Entry was just a thought. And that drafting submissions and responses to immigration on the proposed program. And since January the 1st of 2015, I've been intimately involved with Express Entry, and I created this course out of demand from people just like you who are desperate to get information to help you navigate it so you don't fall into the same situation as Mary Jo. And once again, Mary Jo, it just breaks my heart. There's a link in the description. Click on the link and join. And okay, Ritska says hi, hello, and we've got Angela. She says thanks, appreciate your answer, very welcome. Okay, Sharon says, hey Mark, are your questions only to EE or other questions to immigration will be answered? Just EE tonight, just Express Entry. Okay, and so anyone that's asking questions that are not Express Entry, I'm gonna or any way that I can tie people into Express Entry, I'm gonna skip through those. Okay, all right. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so Tarek says, hey Mark, Tarek from Lebanon, do you think it's better not to include the work of the foreign work of the spouse? So wife foreign work experience if we are not sure of the knock, so that we wouldn't have to bring POE letter. Thanks a lot. Tarek, this is once again another reason why I created the course. And in there, like the question that I already answered, we go in depth, deep in depth over what to include in the work history section. You can see foreign accompanying spouse right here. I've got a video that's targeted specifically on that issue. But the short answer, once again, Tarek, is no. You're not going to include any foreign work experience for your spouse for the simple reason that there's no points awarded for it, not for eligibility for one of the programs, not CRS. And all it does is create extra work. But under no circumstance do you not disclose it when you get your ITA in your personal history. You absolutely disclose that in your personal history, but in the work history, you don't need to. Okay. Yes, Flavi says Brazil here. Muito bem. Muito legal. Okay. All right. So, okay. The word, I love that. If I get a 1-year postgrad because my passport expired, although I did a 3-year program, will I get the rest of the 3 years? You do if you get your new passport. Yes, you can. Okay. Is IELTS the only English I can take to get my PR? No, you can do the CELPIP test as well. And some people, they also ask the question of, what do they ask? French. Okay. So technically, if you speak French, you have the ability to do that. This is hilarious. Silent Monk says, Mark, what are you drinking? I'm drinking strawberry Mio. I love Mio. M-I-O. A couple squirts in my water. I love it. No sugar, no calories. And it's just, sometimes it's fun to mix it up. I usually drink water, but tonight it's late. It's already 10:22 p.m. and we're still going strong, but I don't care. I'm going to get through to give as much help as I can to as many people as possible. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm drinking. Patel. Yes. As you saw, I answered your question. Okay. Sugdeep says, hey, Mark, thanks a lot for doing this. I want to know if Minister Fraser had no wish or ability to do NOC specific draws in July, then why did he push the C-19 bill so hard before summer recess? Oh, trust me, he's pushing it like crazy, and it may very well that they get through. But it's not always in his control, right? There are a number of members of parliament that have to sign off. The votes have to take place, and maybe, I'm just looking here to see if we got any confirmation or links saying that it had now become law, because I don't see it yet. I'm just scrolling down all of these. Nope, I don't see the link to, I can't remember who it was who said, hey, it's already law, because it's not. And yes, he's pushing hard, because you have to do that. You have to push hard, but the Liberals do not have a majority. The NDP have to sign off. Now, for all intents and purposes, they're basically the same party. They've completely consolidated their views on the world to allow them to continue forward. Why the NDP does that? Well, I don't know, but at any rate, they don't have a majority, so they can't just push it through without basically getting concessions from the NDP. And it takes time to get those votes in the House to pass, to take any bill and make it law. But I'll definitely, the moment it comes law, and if it has somehow, and I've somehow missed it, trust me, I'll tell you guys. And it's June 26th. So technically there is still time, and maybe it might happen, but I seriously doubt it with how slow Parliament moves and everybody wanting to go on vacation. All right. Akash says, thanks, Mark. Probably stuck in the queue with all the barrage of applications that came on the final day of the essential stream. Yes, it is entirely possible if it came in on that day. Yep. Okay. Barbie says, will the new PR pathway be targeted? International grads under a certain category? When do you think he will speak in detail about it? That I don't know, but we know that the motion forces him to do something before September. Okay. Snow says, I received a job offer from Alberta, but the NOC has a high volume of submissions across all. Yes, Alberta Advantage Immigration Program streams. Didn't get an invite in the latest draw. What to expect going forward? So you received a job offer from Alberta, but the NOC has a high volume of submissions. Well, understand, have you submitted an application through the Alberta Opportunity Stream? If it's the AOS that you've gone through, then there are possibilities. There's the tech pilot as well that also is a possibility with job offers, but I need more information, Snow, to understand exactly how best to answer that, because it's not quite clear. Okay, Angelito, you're very welcome for that information. Okay, Teja says, once you get a PR, can you relocate to settle in Quebec? Well, understand that you have to be honest and you cannot misrepresent your intention. If you get nominated by one province and you decide to go move, immediately to another, that can unravel your whole PR. There could even be elements of misrepresentation, but you have to be very, very careful. But if you go to a province, you give it a good try, it doesn't work out, and then you decide to go to Quebec, there's nothing stopping you. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms grants that ability for you. Okay. Okay, Reagan says, I submitted my TR to PR, however, was not able to provide my record of employment at the moment, so I provided an explanation letter. Would that work or just move on? Reagan, I think it's really, really unlikely that you're going to be able to save that if you didn't provide your reference letter. Those employment records of employment are a critical mandatory component to that original filing. And I would not be surprised if your application got rejected, Reagan, but we'll just have to see. Okay. EJ says, does travel overseas for pleasure without the need for visa will be considered valid travel by RCC officer? Well, it doesn't matter. They don't care where you go in a different country, just that you went there and you tell them. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, Angelita says she's single too. All right. Okay, Srinivasa, ready, says, Srini, there we go. Hi, Mark. Is the knock play a role in July CES draws? Well, if the bill goes through, like, you know, there's been a lot of debate and a lot of discussion over the lovely bill. And if the bill actually C-19, like Sukhdeep pointed out here, if C-19 actually becomes law, then it's entirely possible. But until it does, then no, the minister doesn't have the ability to just do a targeted kind of a thing just like that. Okay. All right. Manthan says, hey, Mark, how's you? I'm doing good. How's you? What are the chances of all program draws once knock-specific draws start? Well, the minister has the flexibility to do everything. He could continue to do things the way he has. He could choose to do specific targeted knocks or not. So there's a lot of different variations that are in existence, and he has the flexibility to do all of them. Okay, Asma says, please also write down all your links. Thank a lot for Rally Information Program, and you're really helpful for us. Okay, you're very welcome. So Asma, what I just want to show you in the description of whatever video you're watching, I'll just show you here. So let's say you're watching this live, all right? And let's go back here. Let's go back to home. Oh, no, that's not it. Let's see, I'll flip over here and let's try to find my channel again. There it is. Okay, I had to get back to my channel. So in this video, whether you're watching on Facebook or wherever, there is a description you can see right here. So when you log in, I'll turn that off, and you'll see in the description, you can show less or show more. Let's see here, live Q&A. Huh, interesting. Let's see, I'm just trying to think. It doesn't look like this. Oh no, oh here. Sorry guys, I was getting thrown off. The links here. So here's the Express Entry DIY course. You can click on this link here and book a consult. You can click here. But when you go here, if you click on this one, you will see that this takes you to the Express Entry course. All you have to do is go back here, click on the Canadian Immigration Institute, and it will take you back to exploring all the courses. And you can scroll through them. I still have my top 7 Express Entry tips to prepare for July. You can register here to get notified with an email that will come. As soon as you register, the first email will come out, and they come out, you know, basically every day. A new tip, that's a video tip for getting ready for Express Entry. And all the other courses are here. You can subscribe. Spousal sponsorship course is going to start late summer, sometime in August. Haven't quite decided, but people can reserve their spots now. The QUET course is still there. LMIA course is there. PR card renewal course, you can also save your spot for that. I'm going to be launching that one now that we know it's live. So all of those are available on the Canadian Immigration Institute website, and it's just CanadianImmigrationInstitute.com. But if you go into the description and you click on that link for Join Mark's Express Entry course, you can do that. And then book an Express Entry consult. If you click on there, it will take you to our website. And I apologize for making you guys work, but this is our firm website, Holthe Immigration Law, and you can speak. This will take you to where you can book a consult. But all the blogs in the resources are right in the resource section. Our approach is laid out here, our legal fees, our team, all the lawyers, everything is all in here. And English or French, we have the ability to assist you. Well, I can help you in Portuguese too, for that matter. So, so there's lots of options for you guys. Okay, we're getting close to the end here, just about. Let's keep zipping down. Okay, next is Masapu. He says, after my WES evaluation, my 3-year diploma from India has been shown as a 2-year diploma in Canada. So what would be my education for my Express Entry profile? 2-year diploma or 3-year diploma? Whatever WES says it is, that's what it's going to be. So I'll show you, I'll give you a little tip. We'll jump back here. I will pull up the ECA, let's see, what would it be? IRCCEE, let's see if we can pull this up. Educational Credential Assessments, it might be on here. How to submit what your report means. So right here, if I click on here and you scroll down, you can then choose which system. Well, we'll go with the comprehensive ranking system and then see points. So you can see here, if I have a, let's go diploma, it's whatever it says it is. So if you click on here, oh, that's probably too much. Let's go here and say 2. Let's put 2. Okay, see if that allows us. Maybe 2WO, TWO. I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be. I know I am, you guys. I'm just trying to find a perfect example of it. That's the reason. Okay, so let's see if there's, okay, so arts degree, level of education for express entry, 2-year degree or certificate. If that's what it says, then that's the points you're going to get. Okay. So associate degree, it depends on ultimately what the level of education that's listed on the WES. So in your situation, it would be 2 years, not 3, which sucks. Yes, it does. Okay. You're very welcome. The word. Okay. Akil, I don't do jobs. I don't help people find jobs. Okay. Khan, hello. Good to see you. Okay. Christina says, how about a common law partner? Well, I've got every kind of resource that you could want. Do you want, is it in the context of express entry? If it's in the context of express entry, excuse me, then what I'll do is I will push you right back here to our website, have you go to our blog right here, and then I will show you for the purposes of express entry, or even if it's spousal, what's the difference if I'm sponsoring my spouse? You can see this one is the spouse is Canadian. And then if you scroll down here, I'm just looking, we've got so much content here. Okay, are you eligible to sponsor your spouse? And then inside versus outside, spouse or common law partner class. We talk about a lot of different things in there. Okay, so those are some options in terms of spouses, but I'm not quite sure exactly what you're targeting with that question. But common law partners work just fine for express entry as long as you've been living together 1 year in a, continuous marriage-like marital type, centralized mode of existence. Okay. And Christine, if you have any questions, like you can book a consult. We help people with all kinds of applications. Okay. Abood says, can I use my foreign experience to increase my CRS? Well, up to 3 years of foreign work experience will give you skill transferability factor points. So yep, you can. Okay. Shashank says, C19 bill isn't fair for people because not all people will fall under the NOx targeted. Do you think IRCC will replace the existing CRS system with the new NOx specific draws? Understand that the minister has flexibility to do pretty much whatever he wants. And one of the things that they're really focusing on is that the people that are immigrating are filling labor shortages in areas of need within the country. And I think it's, it's hard because it will absolutely prejudice some people. And then other people will say, look, I'm smart. I've got great work experience, but I'm 35 years old. And it's not fair that me as a 35-year-old who's got totally awesome work experience, perfect for Canada, that I should be prejudiced because of that and have what, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 25 less points than someone who's 29. So no matter how you shake it down, Shashank, there's always going to be someone who is prejudiced and doesn't have the same opportunities. So it sucks. Okay. Snow says profiles in general express entry profile system, not opportunity or text stream. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. And Outlander. All right. So yeah, I think it's going to be, in your case, it definitely needs to be, the occupation specific is going to be the only pathway unless you have French or something else. Okay, someone's watching in the express entry law page. Hey, did you see the missionaries, the video that I did with the missionaries that were hanging out at my place? Facebook user, I did it in the express entry law group. Great kids, just so salt of the earth who've left their home to come here and just serve and teach and volunteer. Just great kids. And my son is having that experience down in Chile right now. So Connor's learned to speak Spanish and he's serving down there. Okay, Abood says CELPIP. Okay, language 8, reading 5, writing 8, speaking 7, Canadian experience is NOC B, foreign experience NOC C. Is that okay in terms of language requirements? It just depends. Ultimately, if your experience in Canada is in a NOC B, and that's your experience, then a 5 is probably going to be enough. But let's see, you wrote the CELPIP, so that's 5 right across. And how do you know? Well, let's take a look. It's all about teaching, right? So let's go to, I'm going to pull up here CC eligibility. I'm going to pull it up fast. We're going to pull this up. We're going to take a look. So minimum requirements. Okay. As you can see here, yes, the required language levels need to be needed for the job. So if you go down here, once we get to education language, you will see that the minimum for a NOC B job is the Canadian language benchmark 5. And in your situation with the CELPIP test, whatever your number is, that's what the benchmark is. So if you've got 5 in reading, it technically would be enough. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Shelly says, hello, Mark. Good to see you. Okay. Tasia says, is it possible to apply for express entry if you reside and want to settle in Quebec? Quebec has its own system, I read. Yeah, no, it's not. If you intend to go there, don't go through express entry. Masapu says, thank you, Mark, for the explanation. I really appreciate your work. You're very, very welcome. Reagan says, for the working experience, applicants combine 2 NOC-B jobs will work or better have 1 full year for eligibility and EE programs. It depends on if you're going through CEC or FSW. And like I said before, Reagan, when it comes to the Canadian Experience class, you can combine 2 different NOCs as long as they're skilled, which NOC-B would be. When it comes to the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you have to have at least 1 year of continuous full-time skilled paid work experience, at least 1,560 hours in that one NOC. Even if it's NOC-B, it's still skilled, but it has to be at least that. Then if after having that, you meet the 67 points out of 100, go watch the video that I've showed you guys repeatedly on the page. And as I go scroll back here, it's this one right here. Can I use 2 NOCs? Go watch that video. Go watch it. And it will give you further insight on that exact question. I'm getting close to the bottom, you guys. Once I hit it, I'm shutting it down. Okay. Hey, Mark, Kevin says, will essential non-healthcare workers program will coming out for July? No, I don't see that coming out. It's possible the minister could do something for healthcare workers, but you'll remember that the tier system in November is going to elevate some of those healthcare positions into positions that are eligible for express entry. They're going to be equivalent basically of NOC-B on the new tier system. And once again, I will push you guys right back to Holthe Immigration Law resources blog post, and go and read this post right here that was written by Cedric. Okay, important changes coming to express entry in November. And Chanel also contributed to this one, both Cedric and Chanel. And they talk about these positions. It is expected the following 16 will be eligible. And so if you look here, nurses' aides, orderlies, patient services, also known as personal support workers. This was always low skill. And now it's being elevated. So potentially, well, it will be on the list because they're making changes as well as a bunch of others like truck drivers, which was all. Well, who am I kidding? All of these are being elevated. So go watch that blog post. What are you guys doing? You guys are posting questions. Come on, I'm trying to get to the end here. My day starts tomorrow. You guys, if I was to show you my consults, how they start tomorrow, I have to take my vehicle into the shop at 8 a.m., race over there. Then I have a consult at 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30. No, that's just 11. Then I have a little bit of a break. Then I have an express entry review at 10:30. And then I have a little bit of a break from 1:30 to 3:30 is the express entry review. I love doing those for an awesome client. Then I have half an hour to quickly get ready for my DIY masterclass from 4 to 5. So that is tomorrow, and it's 10:39, and I'm going to be crashing if I can't get through these questions. I've committed to do it, but unless your question is like super, super important, let me get to the end. Okay. Okay. Zanab says, what are the chances for 468 CRS in July? I'm going to say, unless it's a targeted draw, 0. Okay. Okay. Shelly S says, hello, Mark. I'm an international student now. Once I apply a PR, 1 year work experience should be same for what you study, or previous work experience is okay. Certain provincial nominee programs have restrictions that you study only that you work in occupations that relate to your studies, like Alberta. But for express entry, they don't care. You just have to meet the requirements of the position. And yeah, it's essentially that. Okay, Snow, you're very welcome. Okay, Nisrin says, hey, Mark, I want to apply for your full EE application review, but I'm waiting for my ITA. Thanks for all you do. Awesome. I am super, super excited and delighted, Nisrin, to see you connect in. So I'll watch for you. I love doing this. And you know what, guys? I spend hours and hours with clients. And when I have awesome DIYers like you, it's just the perfect scenario because you guys want to learn. And I teach you, I explain the why. So not what you put in a question, although that is a possibility. Yes, I do talk about the what, but I explain to you why they asked the question in the first place. And when you know that why, it makes all the difference in the world. and we can dive in so deep when I'm reviewing applications, Nisrin. So I am super excited to work with you, and I can't wait to connect. Okay. You're welcome, Reagan. Okay. GK says, I have Cisco and Juniper certifications, but not a university degree. What do you recommend for people like me who want to get a technical job in Canada? You know what? When it comes to the jobs, employers, it comes down to what they want. And we're talking work permits. When it comes to express entry without a formal university degree or other post-secondary credential that can actually be assessed and equated to a Canadian credential, you're going to have a real hard time qualifying. You just lose too many points. But when it comes to getting a job, it just comes down to the company. Sometimes that's all they're looking for. Okay, Shalia, you're very, very welcome. And Abood says, I am an international student in Canada. I graduated from Canada as well, and I have a Canadian experience. My CRS is 412. Do you think I'm in good situation? It's going to be tough. 412 is low. We don't know what express entry is going to do. We just don't. So yeah, we're just not sure. Okay, Pranav is the last one. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate your work. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And this live Q&A was a lot of fun. I'm excited I was able to get to the bottom of it. This course, you guys, launches tomorrow. So you only have it's 10:42 p.m. You only have until tomorrow to get registered for this course, to join me in the first masterclass. It is filling up rapidly fast. Join in and be a part of it. And I will share all of the amazing insight that I have garnered as an immigration lawyer here in Canada over the past, when did I start doing immigration? I guess 2003. And before that, while I was going through law school, I worked on the border as an immigration officer and with the immigration hearings officers. When people got their applications refused, I worked as a pro bono student for them during law school. So I've been at this game a long time, and I pour all of that into the courses, and I just love teaching, as you can see. And boy, it's just one big family. I absolutely love having people like Thesura and everybody else giving the shout outs. Too bad Max wasn't able to join us, but just absolutely unbelievable. So thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of it. I will be back with another live Q&A on Wednesday, an immigration live Q&A Wednesday at 10 a.m. And Alicia is off, so we're not going to have Alicia, but I may still do it on Thursday. We'll see. It just depends on how it plays out. And I might pull in Chanel to join me, or Cedric. So we shall see. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for your shout outs. Have a wonderful evening. I am going to go hit the hay. Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, signing off, wishing you guys all the best as you navigate this crazy world that we call navigate. What is that? It is getting late. As you navigate this crazy world that we call express entry. See you guys.